President Joe Biden and lawmakers across the country are marking the one-year anniversary of the January 6th Capitol riots. That's when the process to certify a free and fair election was temporarily subverted by a mob of Trump supporters who took part in those deadly riots at the Capitol building. President Biden today called out the former president for his role last January 6th.
What did we not see? We didn't see a former president who had just rallied the mob to attack, sitting in the private dining room off the Oval Office in the White House, watching it all on television and doing nothing for hours as police were assaulted, lives at risk, the nation's capital under siege.
And joining us to talk about what happened on that day and where the country has come since are Congresswoman Robin Kelly, a Democrat from Madison, and Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky, a Democrat from Evanston. We invited all Illinois Republican congressional members, but none accepted our invitation. And we're grateful for you both to be back here. First, Congresswoman Kelly, you took part in the commemoration today at the Capitol. We talked to you 1 year ago today. You were in the gallery when the Capitol was broken into. What stands out among your memories of that day?
Well, when I walked into the Capitol that day, I thought I was going to see something very positive, and then wound up on my hands and knees with my other colleagues, staffers, cameramen, and reporters. And I know it went through my head because I've worked so much on gun violence prevention. Is this the way it's going to be? Meaning, could this be the end for me? So that stands out, and just I guess it was so unbelievable that it was even happening, and it's still unbelievable today that it happened. Congresswoman
Schakowsky, the memories that are most present for you about that day?
Well, I want to say the good part was that at the end of the day, Nancy Pelosi said, we are going to the floor and we're going to do our constitutional obligation, and we are going to certify Joe Biden as the president of the United States. 147 Republicans, including the leader of the Republicans in the House, voted against certifying the election, but it was certified. And so at the end, the insurrection was defeated because that was their goal, was to stop that certification.
And Congresswoman Kelly, the president today laid blame, a lot of the blame, squarely with the former president for spreading that big lie and stoking that anger among his supporters, but also with Republicans and members of right-wing media that to this day continue to fan the flames of misinformation. So can the president's message really get through when we have this balkanized information landscape?
Well, I think the president did an excellent job, and I'm glad that he said what he said. There are some people we're never going to change their mind. They're always going to talk about the big lie, but we cannot let people forget what happened and that they tried to take away our democracy. And that's what President Biden was doing, and Vice President Harris, as the leaders of this country.
And Congresswoman Schakowsky, are you confident that the Capitol is fortified now, that the Capitol Police are more prepared to deal with something like this? Should a mob materialize, that it won't happen again?
Well, we did have a briefing from the Capitol Police and the Sergeant-at-Arms that made it clear that the Capitol itself, and in terms of security and safety, is much better, and that we are much safer than we were before. And in addition, there's going to be more Capitol Police that are hired. You know, in terms of the future, we still have to secure our democracy, and we have to make sure that we secure voting rights. That's what we really need to do in our country next.
And I'll get to voting rights in a second, but another part of that is the January 6th Select Committee. Your colleague from Illinois, Republican Adam Kinzinger, is on that. They've been moving swiftly with subpoenas. Congresswoman Kelly, will they have a report ready before the midterms?
Oh, definitely. I think they will have a report ready. I just spoke to Chairman Thompson today, and they are working very hard with little stoppage, despite holidays and things like that, to get the report done. They are very determined.
And Congresswoman Schakowsky, yesterday the U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland took the extraordinary step to address the public in a press conference about the Justice Department's efforts with respect to that day. Did you take away from that speech that he is looking at some of the folks that spoke on the dais that day, like the president and like Rudy Giuliani.
Absolutely. I think that was the purpose of that speech that he made, to make clear to the American public that the Justice Department is hard at work. That's only one part, because we also have the legislative work that our committee is doing. And so these people are going to be held accountable for what they did. And from the things we've heard, those emails and the voicemails that were made to the President of the United States show just how culpable he was, and others in the Congress as well.
At the same time, Congresswoman Kelly, Washington Post report says that only about a third of convicted Capitol riots saw the jail time that the government had been recommending for them. Is this appropriate punishment to deter future action like this?
Well, I think that everyone involved, no matter if they're in the White House or not, should be held accountable and responsible. And, hopefully we'll get cooperation from the courts as far as what jail time they should have.
And Congresswoman Schutz, you brought up voting rights. There were bills that passed the House, as we've talked about before. Do you believe that the Senate will vote to abolish the filibuster for this and require only 51 votes to pass a voting rights bill?
Well, I know that the Freedom to Vote Act is Joe Manchin's bill. And I think it looks like that before Martin Luther King Day, that we're going to see a vote in the Senate. If it fails, and it probably will on the first effort, I think then we're going to be able to change the rules in the United States Senate and to get it passed with a simple majority, which is what it should be.
And tell us exactly what the Freedom to Vote Act does. You mentioned it's the senator from Virginia, West Virginia, Joe Manchin's bill.
So Joe Manchin's bill does two really, really important things. One is that it does guarantee that voter suppression laws in states will not be legal, and that it also makes sure that partisan gerrymandering will not be allowable, and actually a number of things that will guarantee the safety and the fairness of the vote in the United States. It's really actually quite a comprehensive bill. Those are the two main things that I'm concerned about. We can't have these the gerrymandering, and we can't suppress the vote.
All right.
What states want to do.
We're going to have to leave it there. Our thanks to Congresswoman Robin Kelly and Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.